Alrighty, got my round of 128 match here for the championships. This will be my second round of the tournament, the third round, but I had a bye in the first one. This time playing Magyi, whose name I can only hope I'm pronouncing properly. What have we here? This kingdom does not look all too exciting, to be perfectly honest. I guess there's technically plus buy if you get to fortune. That involves taking gladiators, which isn't super appealing. So plus buy is rather limited. And then there's also no trashing. Your deck's not getting any thinner. And rats trashes cards, but it replaces them with rats, which doesn't actually net improve your ability to draw your deck. So you got University, which is otherwise really good at gains, but if I don't plan on building an engine because of the lack of buys and trashing, that might be less appealing. Okay, so they got the 5-2. I've also got the 5-2. Certainly not buying anything on 2. Not totally sure what I'm doing here. It looks pretty darn money-ish, I would think, is the answer. Embassy and Explorer both seem like fine cards for big money. I'll probably take one of those. I would think you're probably in it for the long haul because there's a lot of alt VP around. Gardens, Duchy Duke potentially, Harem. You could consider building, I suppose. Embassy can sift through a whole lot of cards, like a whole lot. And then you play a fortune at the end of each turn, and then you double province. Is that worth building up to? That might be worth it. Let me think. So you put a bunch of embassies in your deck, and then you play like an enchantress or two, and you get a big starting hand. So you'll probably find an embassy. You got to get through the whole gladiator pile on your own, which might be an annoyance. Now I'm starting to think maybe I am building after all. You can't really gain and play things because your discard's going to be absolutely chock full of junk. Well, if I'm building, the 5-2 certainly doesn't look great because I think for that I want University pretty badly. And I'd like to open like Potion Enchantress or something, or maybe even Potion Gladiator. I did just say there was a ton of alt VP around. Okay, I think I've talked myself into trying to build an engine. So maybe we just open Potion then? And be sad about the 5-2? Well, my mouse is back to not working. It gets a little bit buggy at times. I'm not sure what they're doing. So they started with Explorer, which signified money, but then they took a Potion, which signifies building. That's probably good news for me if they're like half in, half out of two different strategies. I don't understand what they're doing. I would think it's pretty clear that, if you're playing with universities, you're building to some degree. So you don't want the silvers all that badly. They could have played that Explorer's Way of the Seal and top decked the university, and they elected not to do that. So they're going for Duchy Duke, I guess. That's a very early Duchy. That seems wrong to me. Certainly, if you're just playing just like simple Duchy Duke stuff, I don't know why you're taking a detour into universities for that. And if you're taking universities, I don't know why you're greening so early. I seem to be caught in between a number of possible strategies. Now, gardens, well, okay. I'm feeling a bit better about my chances now because it doesn't seem like they've got a consistent plan in mind. I think I only actually want to gain one gladiator. I mean, it's a stop card, and I don't think I really need the money. I also don't even need the golds on the turn where I'm buying a fortune. So I can only hope to get rid of the other gladiators via trashing them. So here, I think it's worth playing this embassy normally rather than as a seal, because I'm pretty sure I've got another enchantress down there, don't I? Yeah, I bought my second enchantress. Wait, did I buy it before? Yeah, I bought that before shuffling my deck. There's another enchantress down there. Not sure how many universities I want total. Like, university plus embassy is not actually net draw, because university decreases your hand size by 1, embassy increases it by 1. It's still certainly better than just nothing, though. With so much junk in the deck, the amount of sifting you get from that is really good, even if it's not increasing the size of your hand on the whole. Plaza plus embassy is net 1 draw. I do probably want a bunch of plazas at some point. Maybe even take one now. Okay, well, we can't get everything we want. I think playing this enchantress is probably more important than making headway on the gladiator pile. Not sure about that. Take another university. Also not sure about that. I wonder if I end up buying 2 fortunes just for the amount of plus buy that provides. I've also had rats in the back of my mind for a while. Like, I could take 1 rats and convert all these estates into rats, which, I mean, at the very least, if nothing else, you can play them as Way of the Seal, which might be nice. My guess is that's just going to be lower priority than taking more plazas and embassies, though. Come on, mouse. You can do it. Why do I have a silver? Did they gain an embassy at some point? I guess they gained an embassy. Okay, so now what can I reveal? Well, I can reveal Enchantress, and they definitely do not have an Enchantress because there's 2 missing, and I see them both. Let's take more plazas. I think I've got enough embassies to get through my deck. Oh, that might have been a bad order, actually. That was definitely in bad order. Let me just undo 2 there. I don't think it's likely to matter, but what I should be doing is playing Way of the Seal first, so I can top deck that. Just in case. Don't want to dud. I feel like my deck is going to be ready for Fortune in like 2 turns. So maybe I do have to gain another Gladiator to help this pile along. So like if I just play Gladiator, it's down to 7. Then the next turn I play Gladiator, it's down to 6. And I'm not buying Fortune until 3 turns from now, or counting this one. If I gain a Gladiator... Actually, if I gain a Gladiator, I can potentially get Fortune this turn. I would need to play something as Way of the Seal beforehand to top deck the Gladiator, because I sure don't want to trigger a shuffle. But I think my deck can do that. Yeah, so I just have to gain a Gladiator and successfully play both Gladiators without being blocked. But that all sounds pretty doable. Means I don't think I want this potion now. Oh, well, I've got to trigger a shuffle if I want to do this, but I guess that's what I'm doing. So we're going to seal. We can add a bunch of draw cards, though, to make sure I don't dud. I think that'll be fine. So let's put that Gladiator on top that we wanted. Let's put a village on top. Let's put another embassy on top. And I guess I need to put something junky on top to discard, because I don't really have a third card I'm going to want to discard with this embassy. Or I could just play this first. I'll play that first and then discard stuff. That works. And so now I want to play Embassy, Enchantress, 2 Gladiators. I've already got enough actions for that. I don't need to top deck a village. So I think what I'll do is instead I will top deck a Embassy for my next turn. Almost played the Enchantress. Don't want to do that. That's my Gladiator target. Man, I do not want these golds. But they're not optional. Okay, yeah, this came together pretty quickly and pretty well. Even unmirrored fortune wasn't that hard to get to. So I'm feeling like building was definitely the right call. I'm glad I did not successfully talk myself out of it. Okay, I've got a heck of a lot of embassies. And I don't think I want to be triggering shuffles too much, but I mean, I guess I could with this deck. We'll seal one. My mouse starts working. Come on. Come on. Okay, it's back. Let's gain a Plaza and top deck it. Got another Enchantress. Top deck that. I think I am triggering a shuffle here, to be honest. I mean, I gotta find the fortune. So I think it made sense to put a embassy down there. So that this, I mean, this is like a stack of a ton of junk cards. But at least there's an embassy down there now. I can also top deck Plaza, Embassy for next turn. I could reveal Enchantress, but I'd rather show off my shiny new fortune. Oh, look at that. Look what I've got and you don't. And I don't think I need to spend these coffers. 26 money is already plenty of money. And I'm thinking just province fortune. I mean, I could just start double provincing right now, but I probably want the third buy, even if it means taking two. I maybe shouldn't have played both gladiators. I really do not want these golds. Yeah, so maybe there's a way I could have played this turn a little bit better. I think I'm actually kind of likely to dud here, even with the 2 enchantresses and the top decking stuff. Yep, sure enough, I've dudded. That sucks. Well, nice timing. I was probably solidly won anyway, but yeah, obviously top decking a ton of junk, even putting an embassy or 2 embassies and a plaza into there was suboptimal. Who went first? They resigned on my turn, and we'd both taken 13 turns. So I believe they went first. Hope I'm not wrong about that. Oops, why am I in the keynote selection? That's not what I need. God dang it. I don't like being the host. I'm so bad at managing the table properly. There's the player order button. Okay. What have we? Uh-oh. I don't know why it's rated or how it became rated. Aren't they unrated by default? I know what it is. It's probably like this was initially a lobby from a random ladder match I played, which was rated, and we didn't like create a new table or anything. He just came and joined the lobby that I'd formerly been in, and so I guess the ratedness setting did not change. Okay, so what have we here? This looks really awkward. So the only real village is Royal Carriage, and the only thing you can call it on to get a village effect is Haven, which is awkward because it stays out of play, so you'd need like 2 Royal Carriages to get 1 village effect. And, unlike other throne room variants, Royal Carriage does not stack with itself. Like, you can't do throne, torture, barge in the way you could with throne room or crown or king's court or something. So that looks tricky. Hermit can trash the estates and the curses if you get those. There's no way to get rid of coppers. So canal, does that affect things? Canal means your hermit can gain bureaucrats, which does not sound especially good. But it does mean your engineers can gain 5 costs, which might be nice. The question is whether you can afford to play with engineers, given how limited terminal space is. But maybe the canal makes it worth it, especially if you want a ton of royal carriages. Maybe get canal, then get engineer, and then gain carriages that way is what we're doing. I could see that. So I'm thinking maybe double hermit, try to get an early canal, take an engineer, take a bunch of royal carriages, and then some havens and some draw cards. Probably like 2 barges and a bunch of torturers. Seems like the plan. There's Wolfden. I don't think that landmark ever really matters all too much. You just ignore it for the first 2/3 of the game, and then at the end you pay attention and make sure you just get 2 of each card. Usually not hard. This looks like a good draw. Provided I don't bottom deck my other hermit, I'll be very happy. Okay, so I think if I find a madman, this should probably get me to 7. Unless I bottom deck my other madman and a copper. Like that. That's how it might fail to get me to 7. Such is life. Don't trash. Take a haven. Take a haven. Am I buying something this turn? I could have a bajillion madmen, but I don't think I need that yet. Maybe it's just time to take engineer now. I only got the 1 madman in my deck right now. I was hoping I would draw one of these havens on top, and then I would set aside the madman and pop it the next turn. Because I don't think this is going to get me to 7. Doesn't seem like it. I draw 4 more cards. That's it. Damn bureaucrat. Okay, I draw very few cards. Do I even play this madman? I guess I do, because I'm going to get 1 back from the hermit, but that was sad. This jerk has top decked my estate. It's like doubly bad, because not only do you top deck my estate, but now my madman draws 1 less. I guess I just want more havens. I'm going to need them eventually. Okay, so I think the turn after this one, I'm probably going to get to 7. I'm going to have 2 Madmen in my deck. If I manage to find one, I'm going to have a humongous hand, and that should draw my whole deck, and then I'll find all 7 coppers, and things will be fine. More havens. You can never have too many havens. That's what they say. In bias. Haha, can't bureaucrat me now. I don't have any more estates. I do have questions as to how that bureaucrat got into their deck. What happened there? They open with bureaucrat. Can't say that I agree with that decision very much. I mean, the main problem of bureaucrat is that it's terrible. And so the main problem with opening bureaucrat is that you've got a bureaucrat in your deck. They did succeed in perturbing me for a turn there, but I think the damage has been done more so to their deck than to mine. Okay, hello there. Things are looking good now. Let us... Don't trash. I'm about to lose my last hermit. Is that significant to me? I'm probably happy about that, right? The hermits have run their course. And so having another madman is probably good. And this would be the time to get it. So I don't need to try to keep this hermit around. We can live without hermits anymore. Engineer will be gains. Let us set things aside. And now I wish engineer could gain engineers, because the card I would love to have in my deck right now is an engineer. But that's not possible. And so Haven it shall be. I am obviously behind in royal carriages now, but I think I should be catching up soon. I don't know what I buy this turn. I mean, I kind of want a second engineer, but I can also just call royal carriage on the one engineer that I have, and that's probably sufficient. And I really do want to get some draw cards into my deck soon. Because, like, I got Madmen. That'll last me 2 turns. I have 1 Madman that'll draw my deck this turn, and then the other one I can set aside for next turn. So I don't necessarily need draw now, but I think I should probably be buying Barge. Because, like, this Madman will draw my deck next turn, and I'd like to play a Barge, duration it for the turn after that to continue being able to draw things. Seems like the right thing to do. Yeah, I wish I could gain and play this royal carriage on engineer, but that's not how things work. I guess I could consider maybe royal carriage is actually better, because maybe what I do is I gain and play the barge mid-turn with the engineer. That sounds more appealing. Oh, something has crossed my mind. So I did kill that last hermit thinking I didn't need it anymore because none of the gains looked appealing. But if they're playing torturers and I'm gaining curses, you know, hermit is the only way to trash curses in this kingdom. And I've trashed my hermit. So if I take any curses, they're staying with me to the bitter end. Okay, so I have 2 royal carriages on the mat. I could gain 3 things, and I could draw all 3 of those things. So I think carriage, barge sounds right. Carriage, don't trash. Barge, don't trash. You know, maybe we're not even getting to like big engine and torture and whatnot. Maybe this just piles out in like 2 turns. Because now carriages are super low, havens are super low. Engineer can gain duchies, which is nice. Might come up. Do I want to call my royal carriages on my barge? I might, because I don't have a madman anymore, which is how I was drawing. And am I threatening to win next turn? So I've got these 2 carriages here, which would be stuck aside, and I got 2 carriages there. So I'll have, like, if I just called the carriage on barge twice, I would have 4 buys, which would buy me all the havens. I'd have 3 engineer gains, 4 engineer gains. Yeah, I think I'm just threatening to win next turn if I do this. And winning next turn sounds like a good idea. So I have 9 cards of draw coming in. That means I can afford to discard here. Ooh, are they going to call a royal carriage on this? I would be pretty happy taking exactly 2 curses. I don't want to take 1 curse because that's actually more negative points from Wolfden than 2 curses. I got this suspicion that they're going to call a royal carriage on this torture. Come on, please. I want the curse. Give it to me. You got carrot. You want to attack me, right? Do it. No, I don't want this. Okay. So, well, now I've got a big points deficit to make up. So I'm at -10. They're at -3. And I've got 4 buys, which takes care of all the havens. And I've got 3 cards on the mat, 2 gains from engineer. So 5 gains. So I can gain 5 things. 2 of those have to be royal carriages. This feels like it should be winning. So I score 3 points just by trashing the engineer. So that would take me to -7. I could gain a barge for 3, which would take me all the way up to a -4. And then I could gain a curse, which would take me up to -2. I do believe this is winning. So I have to not trash this now, or the rest of the carriages will fail. I have to trash it on the last one. I still got 1 carriage down. We said gain a curse, right? Yeah. So now I just got a spare gain that I didn't even think about. This is fine. I'll just gain a haven. And -2 is a bigger number than -3. What a high-scoring game. All right, 2-0, going into game 3. What have we here? So we got draw with Smithy, Enchantress, or Sheepdog. University gains things. There's no plus buy. There's also remodel for gaining things. So like you could, definitely do double province if you tried hard enough. Thinning is junk dealer. It looks like a little tricky, but I think the engine comes together on the whole pretty easily. Yeah, Enchantress Potion seems right. I mean, you could consider Sheepdog Potion. Seems okay, too. So, looks like they might have had a really good draw. And it's possible they didn't play all their coppers that they had in hand turn 3, but if they did, they're hitting 5, which, yep, they are. And hitting University plus a 5 cost is obviously phenomenal for turn 3, turn 4. My draws were not half bad either, though, so I can't really complain. I think I just want a second Enchantress. Maybe I can enchant their junk dealer, and then I'll be happy. Or the University. Or both. You never know. I still got this other Enchantress in my hand right here. Alright, we'll take junk dealer now. I don't think Swamp Hack is going to matter at all. Junk dealer can deal with curses just fine. It's never giving out more than 1 curse per turn. Oh, that was... So I didn't get to enchant the junk dealer, but that's because they bottom decked it, which is also good news for me. Yes, their shuffles are looking good, but after that last shuffle, I think I've actually got a decent lead now. I would not mind if they played I said Enchantress here, because I got some terminal collision to deal with. Sheepdog will, of course, be effectively non-terminal once my deck gets up and running, when I can line it up with University and then trigger its effect. But we are not at that stage yet. Island might be significant later in the game. I mean, obviously it's a thinner. Island is terrible, and Junk Dealer is not, so it's not going to matter early on. But the thing that's nice about Island is University can gain it. So when you're looking to score points, and you've just got all these Universities sitting in your deck, and your engine's already up and running, you don't need more engine pieces. Each University play can gain you an Island for 2 points, which is kind of nice. What are those bottom 2 cards? I don't know. I'll draw them. They're not my Junk Dealer, so... Okay, one of them was University. I think the main thing I wanted to do is just get back around to playing this Junk Dealer more, so it's probably worth drawing that. Sheepdog, thanks for falling on that sword. But I'd really like it if you lined up with University just once, pretty please. I think playing this is worth it. Yep, drawing University dead seems to be a trend. But again, my Junk Dealer was not in that shuffle, so I just want to get back around to that so I can thin. That seems way too early for Islands to be at all worth considering. Is Embargo better than nothing? Probably not, right? Are there any good targets for it? I'm gonna say it's not better than nothing. My terminal space is a little bit limited. So I don't think I need to spend it on embargoing things. So after the nice third shuffle, I think my luck's been like, so-so since. So I'm not sure where I stand. I suspect I'm in the lead. I think I've got more of the Universities, which is good. This is the kingdom where I think I will take as many Universities as I can get. That's not always the case. Sometimes they start to become bad cards eventually. Once you don't need the gains or the actions, and they're just like Necropolises. But here they're the only village, so I feel like it's worth taking them whenever you can. You jerk! Don't junk my Junk Dealer. I need to get a second Junk Dealer, but I have this problem where I keep drawing. Or have I gotten a second Junk Dealer? Did I do that already? Okay, I've got 2 Junk Dealers. I just need to play my Junk Dealers more. Maybe I get a third Junk Dealer even. 3 Junk Dealers sounds good. I'm slow to having trashed here, and I can remodel them later. Do one of those and a smithy, I guess. They have giants. Giant does not appeal to me. So giant gives you a bunch of money, which you don't need because there's no plus buy. It's terminal, so it's taking up space that could have been used on other stuff. And its attack is just really weak. It only hits every second play. Like it gave me a curse that I'm just going to trash. I'm not seeing any appeal to these giants. They have provinced already. I mean, I guess that's okay. I think I really want sheepdogs, don't I? Sheepdog just seems so good. I've already got 3 Junk Dealers, which feels like enough. It's probably enough Junk Dealers. And If everyone could look away for a moment, I'm going to do something I'm not proud of. In my defense, I did need to add, I guess, some amount of payload to get to 8 for when I start buying provinces, and then I can remodel gold into province. Whereas, other payload sources like giant, like they have the upside of I could gain them with the university, but they can't be remodeled directly into province. Do they have 7 giants? How do you plan on drawing and playing 7 giants? Do they have like a stack of bustling villages hiding somewhere that I don't see? I don't believe your deck is capable of playing 7 giants per turn. I am unconvinced. Probably remodel time. And some more sheepdogs. Maybe I should consider a second enchantress, because it's like really important that I have a nice enough starting hand to line up university and sheepdog to kick everything off. I can take one of those. And we want villages. How many universities do they have? Okay, I have 3 of them. Now they just need 7 more of them and they can play all their giants. I guess only 6 more if they've got 7 giants. The giants are just like helping me draw. Can't complain. Cannot complain one bit. More sheepdogs. Where are my sheepdogs? Where are my sheepdogs? I guess I've played them all, haven't I? I thought I had more than I apparently do. Sad. I'm not hitting province here, am I? Nope, I've only got 7. That's less than 8. But we will live with that. I'm also not playing both my enchantresses, which I'm a little bit miffed about. I want more dogs. I want all the dogs. Maybe I want a smithy. I just want all the dogs. And I guess I should play it safe. I should not buy another university, because then theoretically, if they have like 3 universities and a potion in their hand, they could gain 3 enchantresses, or knowing them 3 giants, and then buy the last university, and that would be sad. So we're gonna do the bad thing again and buy gold. I just cannot believe they have good deck control with 7 giants in their deck. I don't know what their deck looks like, but it can't be pretty. Maybe they were confused because the giants already does have a goat on it, and so maybe they're thinking like thematically, giant's a trasher. Goat trashes, way of the goat trashes, giant must trash. I mean, giant does technically trash, but it trashes your opponent's cards. So it doesn't really work in the way that the artwork might lead you to believe. Actually, is that a mountain goat or is that a ram? Is this distinct? I'm not actually totally certain. I think dog is actually, no, I think I'm gonna let the enchantress get hit, and I will ideally gain and draw back to a second enchantress this turn that I then play, so I still have 2 enchantresses down. And having more dogs in hand makes it more likely to do that. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be able to draw just fine. Okay. So we want 1 more enchantress. That does lower piles a whole bunch, though, now that I say that. Maybe we don't want 1 more enchantress. So I'm probably going to remodel one gold into province and buy a province, which actually gives me the points lead, doesn't it? If I've also trashed curses. Do I just win? I've got a sneaking suspicion that I'm just going to win right here. Is that true? Let's think about this. So I've got 3 more universities. So I can gain 2 giants and enchantress. Then I can remodel a gold into a province. I can remodel something into the last enchantress. And then I can buy a province and I'll win by 1. Yeah. I was gonna like gain a province, set it aside of the island and all that. But the game had to go and end, so I don't get to do the nice fun things. Game being a little bit slow. I'm not sure why. Goodbye, Smithy. You can die for the cause. Okay, 3-0. It's looking good. It's also my turn to go first. I tried to say GG, but I don't think I got in there in time. Oh, lovely. This looks unpleasant. I just played a nasty ghost ship game where we both got ghost ship on the second shuffle, and then there's top decked and mine bottom decked, and I mean, that was about the game. Game's over after that. Not a pleasant card. It is somewhat countered here by Cursed Village. If you can get a Cursed Village in your starting hand, then the ghost ship attack doesn't really do anything. So that's nice. There's no plus buy, at least until cities activate. There are gains with Camel Train, Asterisk, and Altar. I guess trashing rocks is also gains, because you can gain silvers off of it. You can trash with Altar, with Catapult. Oh, Talisman's also gains, I suppose. So you're definitely building here a bunch. You can lower piles and grab all the cities, and if they don't build, you'll have 10 cities, and you'll win. So how do we do that most effectively? Here's transport. So you could be mean and transport ghost ship. You could be nice and transport altar. One of those 2 things feels correct. If the answer is ghost ship, then probably just do it turn 1, turn 2. I'm thinking transporting altar sounds a little bit nicer, and then you can gain ghost ships off the altar. In which case, I think turn 2 and turn 3 is better. Yeah, so I can buy something else. It's probably Ironmonger. I mean, it could be Catapult, but then I'll be sad if I don't see the Catapult in the turn 3 hand, because then it would collide with the altar. Oh, it could be Talisman. If I take a So the idea, to be clear, is you could buy transport twice and then gain an altar and have it top deck. You could do that turn 1 and turn 2 and see the altar turn 3. But if you do it turn 2 and turn 3, you still see the altar in the same shuffle. Turn 3, turn 4 makes no difference. But that means you get to buy 1 more card turn 1 and put it into the shuffle, which is better. And the question is, what card do I want that to be? Ironmonger is kind of like generally nice, nifty card. That's probably worth putting in there. Talisman would be really nice if I find it like turn 4. Actually, is that even nice? Yeah, okay, I'm sold on Ironmonger. I'm trying to imagine the scenarios where the Talisman is helpful. If I see it turn 3, that's bad, because I'm already committed to buying transport, which Talisman doesn't help. And if I see it turn 4, that's bad, because my hand is Altar, 3 other cards, and Talisman. I trash one of those. The most I'm hitting is 3, and then I can't use the Talisman to gain 2 Ironmongers anyway. So I don't think that there's a possible shuffle where the Talisman actually helps me on that next shuffle. They did go with the Talisman. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, so it ends up just serving as a copper. That was my concern. We want to discard that. And we want to gain the mean thing. I think I'm going to take a talisman now. I'm probably going to be buying a few more Ironmongers, and that seems good. Not sure about that, but it's a fun card. So I have bottom decked a lot of things. This could all still turn out well. Down there is an altar and a ghost ship. If the ghost ship is on top and the altar is second from the top, I'm actually quite happy because then I can play the ghost ship, draw the altar, play the altar, and all's well. I don't know what that last card is. What was in my previous hand? 4 coppers on an estate. I have trash an estate. All the estates are counted for. All the coppers are accounted for. Is that an Ironmonger? What did I buy? I think it's an Ironmonger. So I think this is actually likely to work out pretty okay. Okay, well, it could have been better. But that's still not so bad. I think we want Cursed Village now, because they got to go... Okay, that was mean. I'm on the one hand, I'm obviously sad that my Ironmonger got trashed, but also it untop decked my Ghost Ship, which is also bad. And this was a mean attack as well. I wanted 2 Ironmongers, now I'm getting 2 Sages, I guess. Maybe I'm actually just transporting. Transporting sounds fine. I don't think we're building a draw to X deck, so I don't want too many Cursed Villages. But like having them in the deck sure is nice for when you get ghost shipped. I maybe could have considered that play order. I just top decked 2 cards essentially at random, knowing the Cursed Village was going to draw them. But maybe it was prudent to like top deck a particular one to guarantee that my Ironmonger hits. Like if I want the action, I should put an action there. If I want the money, I could put a copper there. I didn't think that far ahead, however. Let's put something into this shuffle, maybe 2 somethings. I'll take the thing out of exile first. Okay, well, Cursed Village, I don't want my cards to be trashed. Alright, I've hit 5. I think I'm over this Cursed Village business. We're not clicking Cursed Village anymore. It's called Cursed for a reason. I think I need to get another camel train, and then we're going to start in on the city pile pretty aggressively, is the plan. Maybe I'm taking 2 camel trains here, actually. I think 2 camel trains seems like worth it. I've got a lot of actions. I can probably play that. They're probably gonna get thinner than I will because they've got the catapult and I didn't bother. I didn't think it was super important, but like it's not bad either. Catapult seems totally defensible. Top deck coppers. I think I'm going to play Ironmonger first and discard that copper. Now, ideally, the argument for playing Cursed Village first is, let's say you draw those coppers and then Ironmonger reveals a junk card. Well, you're discarding it after triggering the shuffle. Whereas what I'm going to be doing is discarding this copper and then triggering a shuffle that I just put the copper into, which is less useful. But I'm kind of worried about dudding here if I don't do that. And we said we were just going to aggressively take cities, and so that is what we shall do. I don't know if I'm in the lead. At the very least, they certainly seem like they're in quite a fine spot. My guess is their deck is better. I don't have a strong basis for that, but it kind of feels like it's doing a little bit more. Like I like the opening I had a little bit better than theirs. The talisman did not work out in about the way it was expected not to, but I did have that problem where I bottom decked my ghost ship and then Cursed Village flipped it, and that was kind of sad. And they are thinner. At least I'm pretty sure they're thinner. They should be thinner. They've been playing Catapult, and I have not been playing Catapult. I really would have liked a second altar at some point, but I don't think I've hit 6 since the first time. Maybe I should have just transported an altar. I kind of just like, I didn't think about it after like the initial turns very much, but I mean, transporting altar is still a really good thing to do. So yeah, not thinking back on it, I don't know exactly which turns I would have done that, but all of a sudden I'm feeling like, okay, that's not right. Don't put golds in your deck. Anyways, I feel like what I probably should have done at some point relatively early was take a second altar, because like all I'm really doing here is gaining lots of 5s, and altar is both thinning your deck and gaining you 5s, so it seems good. Well, I can't exile the city. I won't be able to unexile it, at least not effectively. I'd have to like unexile them one at a time via transport. So I guess I'm taking something else. Not sure what that something else is. Ironmonger? Oh, that was probably a bad order. I had a spare action there. I could have played the altar first and gained the last city to power up the cities, and then played the city. This game's probably ending next turn, which is a concern. I guess the gold actually doesn't look so bad. I'm not sure if they have enough gains. If they're capable of emptying a pile mid-turn, then the golds actually look fine, because then they'll be able to make use of the plus buy. I'm not sure if they have that. They've got an altar. Do they have 2 camel trains? I think they've got 2 camel trains, right? I gained 3 total, and 1 got trashed. So they have the other 2. Yeah, so they like exile 2 cursed villages, altar to gain a cursed village, and then they could get some plus buy off of their cities. If that's the case, then the gold looks worthwhile. I'm not sure if that's the case, though. Okay. Yeah, piles sure are low. So what do I want? I feel like I've got to try to win next turn. And I think that means activating cities next turn and then piling out. So perhaps that means taking some camel trains. I could take as many as 3. I definitely want to take 3 because it makes it easier for them to activate cities. I could lower the pile down to 3, and then it's about equivalently easy for them to activate cities because they could take 3 camel trains, but they could also take 3 cursed villages, and both of those would be equally okay. Maybe I just want 1 camel train though. Like if they don't lower piles at all, I likewise need to play both my camel trains and my altar before my cities are activated. So I feel like I need another camel train to make that a viable thing to do. Honestly, I would buy another altar here. I don't even have 6 money in my deck. Yeah, so I don't think this camel train can actually do anything productive for me. I think all I want to do is just buy 1 more camel train. We'll exile a ghost ship. It doesn't really matter. Alright, this draw is pretty good. Got a cursed village on top, which negates their ghost ship attack. And I've already found 2 camel trains. I need to find 3 of my 3 camel trains and altar to activate cities. Hopefully they don't score. I mean, I think. I mean, there's a chance they win. I think their deck can theoretically win with a good draw, where they find the camel trains early, they exile 2 cursed villages, they alter and gain a cursed village, and then their cities get activated, and they hit like 3 buys, play their talisman, buy like 2 ironmongers and a duchy. It's at least a thing that is possible with good draws for their deck. Don't know how likely it is. Might be likely, might not be likely. But I don't think I had a reasonable way of stopping them from having a chance of winning. So my hope is they don't score. But even if they can't pile out, what they probably should do is just like take a province or something, because I don't think I could win if they provinced. Okay, so they're going for it. It looks like, which fair enough. Do I discard a camel? I'm confused why they're playing catapult now. Oh, they must have a cursed village in hand. That explains why they're playing catapult now. That makes sense. So it probably doesn't matter what I do, because they're probably just going to win this turn. But I'm conflicted between discarding a camel train and discarding a city. City's obviously really good, draws a lot of cards. But I kind of want to play these camel trains early on in the turn. I think I'm going to discard the city. I've got a bunch of cities and cursed villages in here, which would be enough draw. Again, with the knowledge that there's a very good chance it just does not matter at all. Okay, well, there's their altar. They've only played 1 city so far, so I think they'll have the win here. They alter now and gain cursed village. They'll have 3 cities left to activate. Now, with any luck, they'll get diluted, and I will be very happy. Please, pretty please, diluted. Please, please, please. I'm so sorry, Maggie. You did everything right that turn. That's just bad luck. Oh. Yeah, they might still be winning, honestly. Like, they can't pile out here because now they can't buy action cards, but they have a bunch of money, so they could like buy provinces, and that's actually probably still fine. Again, my deck has like very little in the way of payload. It's not probably fine. It may be fine, since I no longer have the need to pile out cursed villages to activate my cities. I can like exile some silvers maybe with the camel trains, and then gain those with the altars. I could get payload into my deck, which may or may not be enough money. I guess, fair is fair. That was a remarkably unfortunate cursed village. But the cursed villages were really doing a number on my deck earlier in the game. And so I think this is just the cosmic scales returning to balance. Do they only have 2 golds? Why do I think they have more than that? Shouldn't they have more than that? Yeah, they have 3 golds. Did they trash one? Oh, maybe they're considering farmlanding a gold. That's probably it. They've got a gold in their hand, and they're contemplating whether or not to trash it with farmland in a province, rather than just buying province outright. Which is just kind of like functionally converting your gold to a farmland, which probably makes sense given that their main priority right now is just like, do not immediately lose the game. So something like farmland gold into province, buy a state. Actually, is that even better than just province duchy? Farmland gold in the province and buy a state scores you 9 points, but so does just buying province and duchy. I'm inclined to say province duchy is just a little bit better. You're more or less in the same position, except you've got 3 more money for next turn. Oh, I see. I didn't even realize they had a city still exiled. I thought they had that in their deck. I guess this lets you do that, which maybe is worth it. Okay. So, time to figure out whether it's possible for me to win. I think it is still uncertain whether I can win this game. So I've got 3 camel trains on my deck. I've got 5 cities. I got 5 money, one of which is a talisman. I gotta score 8 points because I'm player 1. Yeah, I mean, it still sounds not trivial, right? The talisman's probably helpful in this regard. So if I like trash something with the altar and gain a duchy, that's 3 points. I need to score 5 more points, which could be buying a farmland and turning a camel train into a duchy, and that would be enough points. And then I would need to empty a pile, so I could exile 2 camel trains and then buy a camel train with talisman, and then buy the farmland. So I need 9 money because I'm buying farmland, camel train in that line. And I believe I should have 10 money because I've got 4 coppers, a talisman, and 5 cities. So I think I'm okay here. I can trash a copper with the altar to gain the duchy and still have enough money. So that should be good, right? And this line involves me playing 2 of the camel trains to exile camel trains, but then not playing the last one because I need to farmland it. Discard that. Draw. Still possible for me to dud, of course. I think it helps me to play the altar here first. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand. That'll bring me down to 5 cards in hand. That means my Cursed Village draws. Yeah, I think it's worth doing that. I mean, it puts a duchy into my discard, which I don't necessarily want, but I think it's better than making this Cursed Village do nothing. I cannot play that camel train, can't forget that. Okay, I don't need to play the ghost ship. I've got more than enough money, so this should just be the win. Eight points. Camel train. And buys. GG's. All right, 4-0. Partly due to a stroke of luck in that last game, but we take those. Now I'm on to the round of 64. Good games to you, Magyi.